ABC 10 News at 11 starts now.
A live look at the ABC 10 News pinpoint Doppler as a series of wet, cold storms move into San Diego County. Good evening. I'm Kimberly Hunt.
And I'm Steve Atkinson. We have team coverage of this changing weather on our way. Let's start with our meteorologist, Angelica Campos, with a look at where the rain is right now. Angelica.
Hi, Steve. Well, it's definitely coming down in many parts of the county, scattered in nature, but it will become more widespread as we go into tomorrow. Taking a closer look at our satellite and radar, you can see the showers moving across the area, but let's go a little bit closer to give you a better idea of what's actually happening. You can see the showers over Camp Pendleton, Encinitas, Escondido, right up that 15 all the way into Poway, and then a few spotty showers just east of Valley Center. We zoom it out and go towards the South Bay. You see that band just offshore, making its way into San Diego. Areas like Coronado have seen a couple of those showers right now, taking a break. Certainly looking at some of that rain right now in PB. It'll be light as in comparison to tomorrow, expecting about a trace to a tenth of an inch for tonight. But for tomorrow, some areas could end up with half an inch to up to an inch of rainfall. We'll break it all down. Another storm will follow, and we'll have that also in our 7-day forecast.
We'll see you in just a bit. Thank you, Angelica. With the first of the storms already moving in, ABC 10 News reporter Mimi Alcala shows us how people are getting ready ahead of it.
With a series of storms headed our way, people are preparing for what could come.
We made some adjustments to, hopefully divert the flows around the buildings.
The Valley Fire tore through the East County in September, scorching thousands of acres in its path, including parts of Hidden Haven Farms on the outskirts of Jamul.
The hillsides are still pretty bare from the fire.
With burn scars and no vegetation on the hillsides, owner Tony Skidmore is making sure the farm is protected from flooding. He first added these fiber rolls he got from the county and made check dams in November. Since then, he's added more. While Skidmore isn't too worried about the first storm, what comes after is a different story.
But the second one that's going to come in on starting Sunday night and go through Tuesday afternoon, that one's predicted to be about maybe 1.5 inches. That one has me more concerned. With the animals, they tend to be on high ground, so we're not too concerned there.
As for people hoping to get a COVID-19 vaccine at San Diego County sites over the weekend, a spokesperson for the county says no vaccine sites are scheduled to be closed at this time, and we are looking to bring in tent-type structures to some sites to cover any waiting or registration areas that may be vulnerable.
We're not closing unless something catastrophic happens.
At the Petco Superstation, almost 5,000 appointments have already been scheduled for Saturday. Dr. Chris Longhurst with UC San Diego says he's been vaccinating people daily there, and they are prepared for the rain.
So, we've had the tents up since we opened the Superstation, which has been helpful for the sun as well. But they're reinforced with concrete to make sure that they don't blow away. We've got ponchos for all of our vaccinators and volunteers.
The only thing he asks for is patience.
The rain may slow us down a little bit, but it's not going to stop us.
Mimi Alcala, ABC 10 News.
The new strain of coronavirus, believed to be more contagious, may now also be more deadly. Scientists from the UK, where that variant was first detected, made that announcement today. Our ABC 10 News reporter Anthony Purra spoke with a local doctor about this strain that's been detected here in San Diego County, and if vaccines out right now can stop it.
The first case of the UK strain turned up in San Diego County late December. At the time, doctors didn't believe it was any deadlier than the original, but now researchers say it might be. On Friday, UK officials announced the strain of COVID-19 they first detected in the fall may not just be more transmissible, but also deadlier.
There is some evidence that the new variant may be associated with a higher degree of mortality.
The so-called UK strain has been detected in the U.S., including in San Diego County. It's believed to be 50% more contagious and could be 30% more deadly.
We need to see more data, but of course it is concerning.
Dr. Abby Olulade with Sharp Reese Staley. She says it's important to emphasize the vaccine should still work to protect against the strain.
There's no evidence at this point that the vaccines are not going to be effective against the variants, and so that is an important message. We know that the vaccines elicit what is called a polyclonal response, and there's a scientific basis and evidence for that.
County officials are working to get people vaccinated as quickly as possible. Erica Fung tried to take her 88-year-old grandmother to get vaccinated at the Petco Park Vaccination Superstation earlier this week, but couldn't get her grandmother to her appointment because of heavy traffic around the site. Friday morning, Erica brought her grandmother back to get the vaccine, waiting more than an hour in traffic for the shot.
The second that she got that vaccine, I could just tell she had tears in her eyes because she was so relieved.
The county opened a second superstation in the South Bay Thursday. Their goal is to open a total of 4 superstations and 16 smaller so-called pod locations by February 1st. Erica says it is a relief to the family that her grandmother got vaccinated.
It's that reassurance that, hey, we've got a little bit extra protection.
Anthony Pura, ABC 10 News.
And here are the latest vaccine numbers in San Diego County. More than 164,000 people have been now vaccinated for COVID-19, and just over 31,000 have been fully vaccinated, meaning they received both shots.
The county announced a record number of COVID deaths today. 79 more people lost their lives, bringing the total now here in our county to 2,300. There were also 2,800 new cases, bringing our total to 222,000.
A San Diego appeals court has reversed a judge's order which would have allowed county restaurants to reopen. Last month, the judge included restaurants in a lawsuit brought by 2 strip clubs contesting the COVID-19 restrictions. The ruling was quickly stayed by the appeals court, which today formally overturned that decision, effectively keeping the restaurants closed. The court said the injunction went too far and wasn't fair to state and county officials who weren't expecting restaurants to be included in the ruling.
The mayor of National City is trying to convince people to get vaccinated by being a test subject for the new Johnson & Johnson vaccine. Mayor Alejandra Sotelo Solis had a blood draw and temperature check this morning. It's been 70 days since she got the shot. Her only side effects were a little soreness and a headache after the injection.
No tail has grown, no tentacles have come out of my body. I'm good, feeling healthy, feeling happy, and ready to help people continue to feel confident in the vaccine.
County data shows National City is one of the areas hardest hit by the pandemic. Johnson & Johnson hopes to submit its trial results for FDA emergency approval next week. Early results show it's 90% effective.
It's up in the air right now, and I'm just praying and so that he'll recover.
A South Bay ER nurse is in dire condition. Sadly, he tested positive for COVID-19 just a few days after receiving his second vaccine dose. However, experts say this case does not mean the vaccines are less effective than we first thought. Here's our Michael Chen.
Since the pandemic began, Danny Plata, a single dad of 2, has been on the front lines, an ER nurse at Sharp Chula Vista. On December 22nd, he and a fellow nurse, his friend Chris Pena, went in and received their first dose of the Pfizer vaccine. 17 days later, on January 8th, they returned for their second dose.
He actually felt good, have that peace of mind.
A day later,
He was texting me, like, hey man, are you having fever too?
Plata came down with a 103-degree fever and trouble breathing. In the next few days, he would be admitted and test positive for COVID. Less than a week later, he was placed on a ventilator. Recently, he underwent ECMO, a last resort process where blood is pumped outside his body to receive oxygen.
It's up in the air right now, and I'm just praying and so that he'll recover.
It's heartbreaking.
Dr. Davey Smith, UCSD Chief of Infectious Diseases, says while Plata's case is disheartening, it doesn't mean vaccines are less effective than expected. Plata again became ill a day after the second dose. Dr. Smith says it takes between 2 to 8 weeks to receive the full benefit of the second dose, about 95% protection.
It's very clear that he had that virus before he got that second dose of vaccine.
Dr. Smith says Plata contracted it in between doses when there's less protection if exposed.
There's still a reasonable chance, 50%, that we could still come down with the infection despite having that first vaccine.
And what about the timing of Plata's fever so soon after the vaccine dose? Dr. Smith says it's possible it could have been a side effect, but the vaccine did not lead to what happened next.
There is no way that you can get COVID from any of the vaccines that we have now.
Michael Chen, ABC 10 News.
A GoFundMe campaign has been set up by Plata's co-workers to help his family with their expenses. There is a link to this story on 10news.com.
The search continues for those who took part in the January 6th Capitol riots. The Justice Department just filed its first major conspiracy charges. Thomas Caldwell is accused of organizing a squad of up to 10 members of the assault on the Capitol. Prosecutors say he is a leader of the far-right militia group Oath Keepers, and the suspect who planted pipe bombs near the Republican and Democratic headquarters remains at large. The FBI and ATF have bumped the reward up to $75,000 for any information about who's responsible.
A woman has been arrested accused of starting Wednesday's fire that threatened homes in Carlsbad. Crews did manage to knock down the series of fires that broke out around Park Drive. Investigators determined that it was arson, and today officers arrested 49-year-old Dawn Crawford. The homeless woman is now in the Vista jail.
We have breaking news out of Ocean Beach, where crews just knocked down a second alarm fire. It all started about 9:30 this evening at Mother's Saloon near Bacon and Lotus Street. Crews spent about an hour knocking down the flames. They were shooting through the roof, and while they were handling the fire, police officers turned around to see this man climbing into one of the fire engines and stealing a bag of equipment. They say he was wearing a white hat and a black jacket and was seen riding away on a beach cruiser. Anyone who recognizes this man is asked to call police.